The Maine Fishermen's Forum provides an annual opportunity for fishermen to connect with fishery managers. For the lobster fishery, NEFSA's focus was on the incompatibility of so-called ropeless fishing with our members' way of life. This subject was front and center at the 2026 panel with federal leadership.
Well, I think this afternoon's federal panel gives you the opportunity to open up discussions that maybe you feel aren't being heard. I know there's been a lot of talk about ropeless gear. There's been a lot of money allocated to fishermen to test that gear, and coming off of a difficult season last year, I think there were a lot more people that decided to test the gear because they needed the money. But what we are hearing from in a lot of communities are fishermen pit against each other because some people are taking big money to test a technology that a lot of people feel will put us out of business.
Throughout the public discussion, lobstermen from Massachusetts, Maine, and New Hampshire, including members and board members of NEFSA, highlighted the vast concerns with an impractical overhaul of the fundamental design of lobster traps. A new aspect for fishery managers to hear about was the safety implications that render ropeless especially hopeless. To this effect, hundreds of fishermen made their voices clear on our petition opposing on-demand technology on these grounds. Lobstermen have protected the resource with zero tolerance for the harvest of egg-bearing lobsters. And it's time to codify protection of our much more finite human resource with zero tolerance for unsafe new gear and fishing practices.
There's nothing that removes the legs out from underneath of the fishermen as much as the ropeless technology that's trying to be pushed through.
It is going to devastate this lobster fishing industry. And I would urge this board to put this ropeless gear initiative on hold. Let's find a better way.
In leading the charge opposing on-demand gear, NEFSA's lobstering board members have pledged never to test any on-demand lobster gear, no matter how much money is offered to participants. Every harbor has people who've gotten pulled over in ground lines. With time-tested lobster gear designs and traditional fishing practices, most of them live to tell the tale. But on-demand gear could change that. And NEFSA is documenting the stories of incidents that could have cost fishermen's lives if they'd been using on-demand gear.
My name is Devin, my wife is Jamelyn. I have a 5-year-old daughter, Willow, and I have a 1-year-old son, Joey, at home. I'm a lobsterman. I've been doing it my entire life. It was February 12th, 2014. We were on a 2-day fishing trip, the second day of the trip. We had 11 strings left to haul. The deck was icy, and that's ultimately how I got my foot caught, was just the slickness of the deck.
I was in the parking lot of my college. I got the call from his Uncle Pete, so I knew something was wrong because Uncle Pete never calls me. And when Uncle Pete called, Devin's mom was talking and just said Devin went overboard.
I caught the stern on my way out. My fingers couldn't hang on to the stern, and it had shot me into the water. I started getting dragged down. I was looking for my knife, and my hands were numb. I just really couldn't feel it. As I was going down 70, 80 feet, I remember being down there and looking up and seeing them maneuver the boat around. I felt myself stop sinking, so I had known that they got it into the hauler and that I just had to hold my breath long enough that hopefully they would get me up. I owe my life to my dad and Lucky. They saved me.
He was in the ICU for 3 days. Because you were dead when they brought you aboard.
Because Lucky was, he had all his credentials to be on like tugboats to doing CPR.
If they switched to on-demand fishing, I wouldn't feel comfortable when he left in the morning that he'd be coming back.
An end line is the quickest way back to a string. I mean, in my situation, I was under for 5 minutes with them being able to get it back to the hauler immediately. In that situation, seconds count. If it had been a couple more minutes of actually being in the water waiting for a buoy to pop up, it could have been a completely opposite story. If that situation had gone south, I mean, my daughter would have never been born.
Our kids wouldn't have a father, I wouldn't have a husband.
If I was a regulator, I wouldn't feel comfortable with adding danger to the dangerous situations we already have on the boat.